Welcome to the OpenJ9 community call for October 11th. If you haven't already, please remember to add your name and company affiliation to the attendees list so we can track who's joining the calls on a regular basis. At this point, we'll ask if anyone has anything urgent to bring up before we continue with the regular agenda. So we have no lightning talks scheduled for today. So I guess we'll just get into the end user issues. So there's something new opened, JPAC core missing. I think Keith has already started taking a look at that, at least asking some questions.
Yeah, I'm not convinced yet that that's a real problem.
Okay. As long as it's being looked at, that's good.
Yep.
The DTFJ Java core parser missing stack traces. I believe there's a PR open to at least partially fix that.
Yeah, I looked at that again this morning. I think the root cause of this is, and I don't know when it happened, but today Java dumps have the native stack trace before the Java stack trace, and the DTFJ stuff is expecting those two in the other order. And if I looked way back at like from, I don't know, I think it's like 6 or more years ago in the old source base, the Java dumps actually had them in the other order. So I don't know why they got reversed. But I have I think a fix that ought to address that and allow them to be in either order.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I thought the native stack trace was after as well, because I didn't notice it.
So like I said, I haven't figured out when they got reversed. But just putting them back in the order that the DTFJ expects would mean you can't read the Java cores from in between. So we don't want that either. I mean, we can reverse them if we decide that's appropriate, but it should be done separately.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out why they changed. Then there was no such method error in JDK, but I think we talked about that last meeting, so I'll just move on. So for the 0.35 release, I don't think there's anything outstanding. We've got this issue related to inflate deflate on Z15, hardware zlib, compression decompression. It doesn't seem like anything is going to get resolved for this release more than has already been resolved. I believe we're going to have a release note for a known problem. So we've got one more week until we start GA activities. I think I'll just move that out. Does anyone have any concerns or comments about the 0.35 release? We did do the M2. We triaged all the builds. They started to get published. And I think there was some publishing issues that got fixed. And so we're continuing to publish the rest of the versions. Is Adam on the call? So we'll look for those remaining versions to be published in an announcement in this OpenJ9 Slack. Okay, so that takes us to Java 19. Jack, do you have an update for us?
Yes, Pete. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So for Java 19, in the past week, we've been working on resolving the final bits of Sanity OpenJDK and looking at the extended OpenJDK test suite, which we have excluded due to incompatibility before. So from the Sanity work, we were able to get the xint testing done to the last one, where we need additional verification for the stack trace call. In the particular case, when a virtual thread is calling to get the underlying carrier stack trace, we would need to add an extra check to verify that we're returning the correct stack. And currently I am working on it. A fix should be available soon. With JIT enabled, we noticed the stack faults during test run, especially during stress test. It was due to the fact that we're not caching the I2J state when we're transitioning between JIT and interpreter, especially in the INL functions where we're doing the entry and the yield. There is a PR open currently to address that issue. And with that PR merged locally during testing, we noticed the stack fault during transition went away. And we will be retesting all the failures, the test cases where it failed again with this new PR is merged to verify that using the new PR, it will confirm that there's no errors from JIT side. We
Was
did
that the
notice
one?
with JIT enabled and with GenCon and balance, there are particular failures inside the GC running the stress test. And I have asked the GC team to take a look at that and not heard back yet, so we'll see how that goes. In terms of the extended OpenJDK, I've based all the testing on ops throughput GC policy, and out of 6 excluded test cases, 5 of them passed. The one failure which we failed is due to a certificate exception being thrown. Is currently looking at it is not related to Loom or threading. So we'll take another closer look to see exactly what caused that exception to be thrown, but it shouldn't be part of the blocking from the Loom work. In terms of JVM-TI support, we're still under review from GAC for the suspend resume PR, and so far we've made quite some improvement over the existing design to get rid of the 2 mutex lock and only use 1. And I think that's it for the VM update. Is Alec on the call for the GC part?
Yeah, I'm here, but not much to edit, as relative to last week. So that bug on with the compactor is has been merged since then. So yeah, we're looking forward for balance GC and Gen contesting results. So I'm not aware of this new defect or defects that you mentioned. Probably Lynn is, but I haven't heard from him. So I'm curious what this is about, But anyway, so for the Metro and concurrent scavenger, we're in the middle of prototyping it,
Yeah, and from the JIT side, I believe the XPZ work have been done. We haven't seen any test failures yet. I will be running more stress tests with JIT enabled to confirm that there's no JIT problem. In terms of Arch, is there on the call for an update?
I don't think there is an update. I mean, everything that we think we need to do has been merged on all the platforms.
Okay, well, that's great. We'll be running testing on all platforms then with JIT enabled. Thanks, Daryl.
For the tests, the excluded tests that are passing, are we able to unexclude those?
We're currently unable to exclude those as most of them will only run on ops throughput, which is not the default policy we use for Sanity OpenJDK. I can start testing with the amount of test cases that would be able to pass with the default policy and start enabling those ones.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because once we get something passing, we want to make sure that it doesn't have intermittent failures and continues to pass.
Yeah, so I'll start the running test on all platforms with the ones that are passing under GenCon, and we'll put in a PR to re-enable those ones first.
Wondering if it would be worth running the ones that only work with op throughput in that mode.
Do we have any particular playlist feature that would allow us to run individual test cases in particular? I am not aware. I'll check with the test team on that.
Yeah, I know there's a playlist that lets you run one test, but I don't know that it lets you run more than one test.
Okay.
So yeah, it'd be good to check with Lynn and see her on the call today. Okay, anything else?
No, that's it from the Doom project.
Okay, thanks. Cheng, any new updates for Panama?
There's nothing new from William's side in terms of sound generator code on x86. So the PR out there already approved. So hopefully it should be merged soon. That's it.
Are we waiting for another approval if it's not merged? Do you know?
We're just waiting for the test to finish.
Oh, okay. That sounds promising. Don't know if we have anybody to talk about adopt updates. Probably not. Nobody to talk about machines. I think machines are fine. Disk space is fine. We still have the same Windows issues. Let's see, do we have Marius? Let's see, Marius. Do we have Toby? Toby, do you have anything to update for CRIU?
Yeah, so we'll be doing another early access build for this month. Where the main things are we're fixing a few bugs that were related to single thread mode and time compensation. So those will be addressed in this release. The only new feature, quote unquote feature, will be the time compensations for things like object wait, thread sleep, and unsafe park. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Macom 1's probably nothing new there.
Nope.
Coming out of EA as far as we know. Does anyone have any other business? Otherwise, short call today. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.